everyone, my name's Josh. Thank you so much to Jess at the Wacky Workshop Theatre Company for asking me some questions today. We've got a little friend joining me today. This is my cat Corinne, one of four. I'm afraid with 4 cats there might be cats coming in and shot all the time. But anyway, I'm Josh, that's Corinne, who might want to hijack my video. Come on then, come and say hello to everyone. Here's Corinne. She doesn't really like being picked up, as you can tell. But she obviously wants to be on camera. So, say hello. Come on, get your bit over and done with. There we go. Yeah, you're not the only one that likes to be on camera. Come on, it's my video. So I run the theatre company Pumpkin Pantos, and we specialise in children's theatre and, of course, pantomime, which is my big #1 passion in life. I've always loved pantomime, ever since seeing it as a child, and just seeing these big characters on stage in colourful costumes and big wigs. I thought, now that is exactly what I want to do. So I decided I'd become a producer, which means I get to put on my own productions and my own pantomimes. And it's been great fun. I get to do them all throughout the year, so not just for Christmas anymore, which is when lots of families like to meet up and go and watch the pantomime. But nowadays it's so popular that there's pantomimes everywhere. You can go and see a pantomime any time of year. And that's what I like to do. So we do Easter, summer and Christmas. And I especially like the summer ones because we get to perform outside in the lovely sunshine. So what more could you want? And also when I'm not performing, I love to look after my 4 cats. I like going to the cinema. And I like to stuff my face with lots of chocolate. Well, the other day I went to the zoo, and in this cage I saw a massive baguette. So I said to the zookeeper, "What's this baguette doing in a cage?" And he said, "Well, it's bred in captivity." But I'm sorry. And you can see what my pantomimes are probably like, full of bad jokes like that. So I like to think of my job as having 3 different hats. And my first hat is being a producer, which means organising all the little things that need to happen for a show to be put in front of an audience. So it's everything that happens before the curtain goes up. So I've got to make sure I've got all the actors to play the characters, I've sorted their costumes, and they know what songs they're singing. So it's organising lots of little things behind the scenes. And my second hat is being a scriptwriter. So I write lots of different plays and pantomimes for drama groups to perform. And my last hat is being a drama teacher. So I like to go into schools and help them with their end of term performances and also play lots of fun drama games with them. So that's the 3 hats that I wear to do my one job. So I always think of 4 people who helped me fall in love with theatre. And that's of course my mum and dad. They took me to see loads of shows, and they also took me to the local theatre to join the drama club. So I met loads of friends just like me who love theatre. So it was great fun to put on productions with them. And the other 2 people that made me fall in love with theatre is my gran and granddad, because every year they would take me to the Christmas pantomime, and I was amazed by everything. The scenery and the theatre just looked beautiful, and it made me want to do it when I was older, which is luckily what I get to do now. My favourite script that I've ever written is probably my first, which was Pinocchio. When I was young, I really, really loved the Disney film, and I loved the character of a puppet becoming a real boy. And I thought, I'm going to make that a pantomime, because at Christmas we always watch Aladdin and Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk. So I thought, it'd be fun for me to write something different. And it was really magical for me to write it and then see it performed live with all my friends. We got together at my local theatre and put it on. So that always holds a special place in my heart as being my first script and the first one I ever got to put on. And I've written lots and lots since then. Other favourites are other ones with different titles, like The Frog Prince, that's one you don't hear much of these days, and Robinson Crusoe, which is about pirates and the battle of good and evil, finding treasure on a magical island. So I like to do the traditional ones like Cinderella, but I also like to write my own quirky ones based on fairy tales that aren't done as much. Well, there's lots and lots of things I like about theatre. I like that you get to dress up and be silly with your friends, playing lots of different characters. And I like that there's lots of things about theatre. It's not one type of show. You can see musicals, you can see Shakespeare, you can see a more serious play like a murder mystery or a comedy. So I think I really love theatre because there's something for everyone. And it's fun to be in shows, or it's fun to help with shows, whether that's on stage or backstage. There's also making the props, making the costumes, making the scenery. There's always lots to do in theatre, and I think that's why it's so exciting. I think it's time to take a break because another cat's come to say hello. Come and say hello. This is Poire. She's another one that doesn't like being picked up, so I'll pop her back down. But she's Poire and she's lovely and she follows me everywhere. So when I'm writing my scripts, I always start with 2 different lists. And the first list is the characters, so all the characters I want in the play. So if we use Aladdin, for example, we're going to need Aladdin, the princess, Aladdin's mum, his silly brother, the evil magician, and of course the genie. And then my second list is the settings and all the different scenes where it takes place. So we can have the village square, Aladdin's mum's laundrette where she works, and of course the Cave of Wonders where we see the magical lamp. And what I do is I use that as a basis and a structure, and I just point out all the different things that need to happen in that scene, and eventually it grows and grows into lots of pages which become the script. The most difficult thing about script writing, especially pantomimes, which is what I do, is making them different, because there's lots and lots of Aladdin and Cinderella scripts out there, because these stories have been around a long, long time. So I've got to make sure that my version is different and has its own little twists. So I always like to try and make things current, so whatever's going on in the world at the moment, I always make sure that's in the script so that people laugh at it, and you have lots of recognisable characters and names. So I think that's probably the most difficult thing, is each year making the stories that we already know slightly different so that you feel like you're watching a completely different story. Well, at the moment I'm actually writing 2 scripts, and the first one is Dick Whittington, and not many people know the story of Dick Whittington. It's not performed as much anymore. So for those that haven't seen that one, it's about a young boy who comes to London to seek fame and fortune because he's very poor, and he's been told that the streets of London are paved with gold. But when he gets there with his cat, all he sees is rats everywhere. So with the help of his cat, he can defeat the rats, and he becomes very successful, and they even award him the title of Lord Mayor of London. So it's a nice story about if you help people, good things can happen to you. And the second one that I'm writing, the second script, is Sleeping Beauty, but I'm sure everyone already knows that one. Well, if you speak to loads and loads of actors, they'll all probably tell you a different answer to this question. But for me, I like to highlight my lines so I know which bits I say. And I also like to just keep reading it. I read it over and over. I get my friends to test me. Sometimes that's annoying for them. I say, can you help me run my lines again? And I also cover them up. So when I'm learning it, I take a cheeky look to see what the line is, and I keep saying it over and over to myself until it sinks in. Usually I say it about 10 times before it sinks in. But I think the best tip I can give for learning lines is to keep reading it. Some people audio record their voice on their phone. That helps them so they can play it back. And others like to just keep writing their lines down. So if you get a piece of paper, just keep writing the lines down, and eventually they'll sink into the brain. So when I think about the funny things that have happened in my shows, there's always one that sticks out in my mind, and that's when I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And those that don't know what that is, it's a big arts festival where lots of theatre companies come together and put on loads and loads of shows in various theatres and spaces. And we were doing a pantomime, and our props went missing. So we went in to set up, and when you do the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, you only get a short amount of time to set up your show. So we went in, we could see our costumes, we could see our scenery, but the props were nowhere to be found. So we were searching and searching for everything we needed, and I don't know where they ended up. So they just went missing. So I had to get everyone together to find the things that we needed. And as you can imagine, in a pantomime, you need lots and lots of objects. And in this pantomime, we needed a bag, we needed a bell, lots and lots of things. So we just had to look around the theatre where we were performing and find the things that we needed. Luckily, the show ran quite smoothly, and we asked a friend at the end who was watching. I said, "Did you notice anything a bit weird about the show?" And luckily they didn't, so we managed to get away with it. So at the time it was quite scary that we didn't have everything we needed to do the show. But it sort of goes to show that when you do theatre, you can use anything to put on the show. You don't always need the real objects. We picked up other things to become the bell and the bag. So it all was fine in the end, but at the time, very scary. anyone out there that is thinking they love theatre and it's what they want to do, I just say go for it. That's what someone told me when I was young, and those words have stuck with me. If you want to do it really badly, then go for it. And as I said, there's lots and lots of things in theatre that you can try out. It's not just performing. Maybe you want to try doing the scenery painting or making costumes or the script writing like I do. There's lots and lots of different things you can try. And maybe you'll fail at some of them to begin with. And maybe you won't. So you'll find the thing that you're really good at, stick at it, and have lots of fun.